Surprise! Hey everyone, I'm Ultima456 and welcome to episode 0 of Final Fantasy VII. I didn't plan on uploading this in place of Long May We Plat, but it worked out that way. So I'm going to be addressing a few questions and topics of interest in this episode, like, what is an episode 0? So the first thing I'm going to say is the next Let's Platinum is going to be the original Final Fantasy VII, as you can see. And some questions might be, why? Well, I guess the answer to that is it's a classic, and it's considered by many people to be basically the best Final Fantasy of all time, and if not just the best Final Fantasy, but the greatest game of all time, and many people's favorites. I never got into it a whole lot when I was younger. I think I've told the story before, but I was about 14 when this game came out. I was 7 when this game came out. I was 14 when I ended up playing a little bit of it. And I think I got stuck at Wall Market. I just didn't really understand what I was supposed to do, and a friend lent it to me, and I said, all right, here, have it back, because I can't figure it out. So it was a bit too challenging for me to get through, and so I always wanted to play it. I always really wanted to learn about the story, because obviously the big implication, or the Final Fantasy VII story, there's one thing that pretty much every gamer knows. Every gamer knows the massive spoiler, about halfway through the story, but not everyone knows like the entire story of the game. And so I really wanted to get into it. I really wanted to play it and find out, listen, see what was in this game. And I'm glad that I did, because I enjoyed it a lot. So what's the goal? So as always, the goal is to get the platinum. But this platinum is kind of, easy is not the right word, but it's kind of like limited. There's not really much stuff that you need to do other than finishing the main game. There is one trophy that is missable, permanently missable, but we're going to be getting that no problem. It occurs about like 40% through the game, so it's not that big of a deal. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing, and it'll be fine. But other than that, we're going to be going for basically defeating all the bosses, the super bosses, doing all the side quests, getting all the treasures and most of the weapons and items in the game. And then any sort of little extra things as well that people might not know about will be fun to do as well. Let's talk about the length of the guide. So obviously Final Fantasy VII, I realized that throughout the year I've done quite long games. So we started off by finishing the end of Resident Evil 7 at the beginning of the year, followed that up with a huge 4-month Danganronpa 1 playthrough. Then there was a bit of a quick Resident Evil 3, and then I've been doing the Neo DLC for almost 3 months. So I know following those up with another long game is probably not ideal, but if I don't do this now, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it. This is also kind of a way for us to experience the story of the original Final Fantasy VII compared with the story of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I also intend on doing in the future. In terms of the length of this game, it is very long, but I think we'll be able to get through it quite efficiently and quite quickly, especially because there's some things that Square Enix likes to call gameplay enhancements in this. So the gameplay enhancements are 3 times speed, so you can make the whole game go 3 times the speed at, not throughout the entire game, but there are very specific, but there's like 90% of it you can make the speed go 3 times. And let me tell you, that is a godsend, because this game is just like, one of the things about playing an old game, especially a game from 1997, is I feel like we had less stuff to do back then, or maybe it was just because there were less games, and so games needed to last longer. I don't know what happened, but it's really slow. Like, it's incredibly slow if you don't play with the ×3 speed. The other thing you can do is you can also put no encounters on. So basically you can run through the world and you won't be able to enter into a battle. This I am going to use, but I'm definitely not going to use it a lot. It's just going to be on certain occasions where it's very convenient and efficient to use no encounters as opposed to not using it. And then the final feature is you can basically it's almost invincibility, and it basically fills your limit gauge as well. And yeah, I'll say gauge from now on. I guess it's gauge. I always thought it was gorge, probably, for some reason. I don't know. Just it seems like it's spelled that way to me. But anyway, yeah, it fills your limit gauge up to the max, and you can become invincible. I pretty much will not be using that one at all. All right, special thanks. So I don't know if I've ever actually mentioned this person, but I've definitely talked about them without specifically saying the name, and I feel like now is the most appropriate time to say it. I want to give a big shout out to HC Bailey, who is also a YouTube user, and if you guys know who he is, then you know, hopefully you're a fan. I'm definitely a fan. He's the person who inspired me to start doing YouTube, and he's done a lot of Final Fantasy games, and I think getting to do Final Fantasy VII now is like a big deal for me, because I remember watching his playthrough so many like years ago, and seeing all the other playthroughs that he's done of the Final Fantasy games. He was the one who really inspired me, so it's kind of awesome that it's come somewhat full circle, and now I'm able to show off what I've learned from this game. Another shout out goes to another YouTuber who's still going strong. I mean, HC Bailey is still going strong too. And this is Fuzzfinger Gaming. I only recently discovered him when I was playing this game a little bit earlier in the year. And I used his like essentially streamed guide for this, which he did essentially by heart. Like he's played this game so much that he did it essentially from memory, with the help of his community, who are just the most knowledgeable people when it comes to Final Fantasy VII. It's incredible. So very big shout out to him, because I basically watched his guide to come up with a template for mine, and then I've actually gone ahead and crafted a full text walkthrough, which I hope to release basically like once I'm done, because I'm sort of still going through the game, and the walkthrough is pretty much all done, but it just needs some heavy editing and stuff, and I'll put that in the description when I've finished the game, which I know is still like a long time, but I want to make sure it looks as good as it can look. So sorry, yep. Okay. And then finally, rather serendipitously, if you're watching this as soon as it comes out, like the day it comes out, you might want to check your PlayStation Network store in whatever region you live in, because I live in Australia, and right now, until the 10th of October, there's a Big in Japan sale where everything is like 50% off, or like there's a whole bunch of Japanese, not Japanese games, but like I guess Japanese developed games, anything to do with Japan. There's kind of like a sale going on that has about 50% off, and Final Fantasy VII is included as one of those games that has you know, the percentage off. So like I said, if you're watching this as it comes out, or if it's before the 10th of October 2020, check your PlayStation store. Like I said, I'm in Australia, so it might not necessarily reflect to all the other regions, but if you're keen to play something along with me, you can go purchase it there, and yeah, follow along. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this episode. This is an episode 0. Like, it's specific to Final Fantasy VII, but I wanted to actually talk a little bit about some future plans. So this is going to be, like, this will probably go until the end of the year. Maybe we can finish it sooner. I really can't say. It's just going to be a matter of like doing it and seeing what happens. But hopefully I can finish it either before the end of the year or right at the end of the year. And then the next things that I'm planning are probably going to be Resident Evil 4. I really want to do the original Resident Evil 4, and I'm saying the original because now we know about a future remake, which hopefully will come in like 2 years, so doing Resident Evil 4 will be good. I'd also really like to do Shadow of the Colossus, because Blue Point games are just incredible. They're absolutely incredible. And speaking of Blue Point games, obviously the Demon's Souls remake is coming out November 12th, so you know, that'll be something that I'll be working on as soon as I can get my hands on it and start playing it on the PS5, so that's going to be interesting as well. And I might try, I don't know how it's going to work, but I want to complete the Resident Evil 2 DLC as well. and I think I have an idea of how I might be able to do that. I'm not promising anything, but I think it might be possible. So stay tuned, because there might be more stuff that comes out as the rest of the year fades out, hopefully, and we can not look back and just not think about 2020 anymore. Hopefully 2021 will be much better. The last thing I have to mention is Danganronpa 2. So if you remember, at the beginning of this year I said my plan was to do Danganronpa 1 beginning of 2020, Danganronpa 2 at the beginning of 2021, and Danganronpa 3 at the beginning of 2022. I still want to try and do that, which is why I'm like, all of this stuff is kind of on like a very base level of planning. I haven't got everything sorted out completely, but I still want to try and do Danganronpa 2, if not the very first thing that I do at the beginning of next year, like sort of early next year. But the frustrating thing is that I know it's going to go for another 4 months, because basically all the games are about the same length, with the exception of Danganronpa 3, which is even longer. It's ridiculously long, mainly because of the mini games and stuff in that one. But yeah, all right. Well, I guess that's enough talking about the future plans. I guess it'll be a stand-in for me doing an update video for a little while. But look, regardless, I hope that you guys enjoy what's coming with Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to be, I've gone into a huge amount of effort with this one. I've created like a full text walkthrough. I've watched the game all the way through. I've seen speed runs. I've been trying to keep up with I've played Crisis Core before, and it's not that important to have played. I'm watching Maximilian Dude actually play. I like that guy. He's so entertaining. He's so funny and smart. He's very, very smart. But I've been watching Maximilian Dude play Dirge of Cerberus. The game looks fun, but I haven't really got into it a whole bunch. I've only been seeing the beginning. And I think what I need to do as well is watch Advent Children to just like get as much Final Fantasy VII knowledge into my brain before I get this started, so I can be completely informed and everything like that to make the best possible guide. So I'll be talking about the story as much as I possibly can, giving my opinion. RPGs really allow me to, I think, talk about stuff that there's certain like sentences and stuff that comes up in games, especially with a lot of dialogue, where it just reminds you of something in your past, or in this case in my past. And I think that's probably what a lot of people like to hear, is like they want to hear you talk about the game, but also a little bit about yourself. So I think I'm going to get that nice blend, and it was difficult for me to do that with Neo and with the other games that I've done this year, where it's just been like go mode. So yeah, we'll be going through this as quickly as possible, but we will also be like listening, paying attention, trying to find all the little hidden things that you might not have noticed when you played Final Fantasy VII in the past, if you have. And if it's if it's not your favorite Final Fantasy, then maybe you'll be able to gain a new appreciation for it or something as you follow along with me and hopefully enjoy it. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at the moment. I'm going to keep posting the videos one a day and just continue working hard. I want to thank you all for watching, continually watching, and liking the videos, subscribing. If you're supporting on Patreon, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. It just allows me to keep doing what I really like doing, and it would be nice to try and hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. There's a chance I'm gonna get there, but it's like I've been not gaining as much lately, but we'll see what happens. Who knows when I think things are gonna pick up again when I get to Demon Souls and a few other games. But yeah, thank you so much for everything, and I think I'm just going to leave it there. The other little bonus thing to mention is that this is coming out when a Long May We Plat episode would have come out, which does mean in fact that in 12 hours time from watching this video, or a little under 12 hours time from watching this video, episode 1 will come out, and then we'll go on a day-by-day basis for until we finish, and hopefully I can get some extra videos here and there in. No promises, but I'm doing my best. Alright, so my name's Ultimate456, you're the Ultimates, and I'll see you next time.